Hi, I'm Gina and welcome to Doing It All, a blog where I chronicle all of my different interests and projects. Today I would like to show you how to use Adobe Illustrator to design a custom stencil, like this one, for a painted wood sign. The file we create can be used on both Cricut Explore and the Silhouette machines. Then I will show you how to import the stencil into Cricut Design Space. I am using Adobe Illustrator CC 2017 on a Mac. So let's get started. We begin by creating a new file that is the same size as the wood sign or board using the custom settings. So go to File, New. My board is 26 inches wide and 6 inches high. Click Create. Now the first thing we need to do is create our guides. This will help us lay everything out. So in the Layers panel, double-click the layer name to rename the existing layer 1 to Guides. Now turn on your rulers using Command R. Drag a guide from your ruler down to the artboard, bring it to the edge of your board and drop it. I like to type in the 0 coordinates and use the measure feature to move the guide where I want my margins. Here I am creating a 0.7 inch margin by adding 0.7 in the Y coordinate box. Drag a second guide down from the ruler to the bottom of your artboard this time and subtract 0.7 in the Y coordinate box. The space that I can paint is only 23 inches wide, plus the Cricut can only cut a maximum 24 inches, so I will set my guides in the X direction, adding and subtracting a 1.5 inch margin on each side. You will need to create your own margins based on the size of your board, keeping in mind the limits of your machine. Now lock the layer and we're going to move on to step 3. Create a new layer by going to the bottom of the Layers panel and clicking this icon, and rename that layer to Text. Now select the Type tool by clicking the T in your Tools panel. Then choose your font in the Properties tab on the right. I'm using the Fonjava font I downloaded for free from dafont.com. I'm actually going to use both versions of this font, the regular and the alt, because I want to combine them. I'll use the regular version of the font first and make it 250 points. Click the center icon in the paragraph bar, then create your text box by dragging it to your margins. It will automatically snap to your guides. Type in your text. I'm creating a Christmas card holder that says Merry Mail. I am changing the capital letters to Fonjava Alt because I like the look of the capital letters better. Step 4 is to add graphics. Create a new layer and label it Graphics. Open your vector graphic file, File, Open. Click on the vector graphic, copy it using Command C, go back to our file, and paste it using Command V. It is automatically on the graphics layer because that is the layer we just created. I'm going to move my graphic over, and then I'm going to make a copy of it using the Option Shift command. And when you see the arrow become 2 arrows, one black and one white, you know it's copying the object. Drag and drop while still holding the Option Shift. The Shift key is keeping the object orthogonal as I drag it. The word Merry Mail doesn't quite look centered, so I'm going to select that layer and nudge it using my arrow keys. Now we're going to create our cut box. So create a new layer named Cut Box. Use your rectangle tool or keyboard shortcut M and make the outline black and the fill nothing by clicking this double-sided arrow in the toolbar. Because the Cricut can only cut up to 23.5 inches, I really need to create a box that size. Now draw a rectangle from edge to edge of the artboard. Making sure my reference point is the center up here in the control bar, I then unlink the width and height proportions by clicking this icon. Now I can change the width from 26 inches to 23.5 inches in order to give those snowflakes a little bit of room. And because the cutting mat is 12 by 24, I can fit 2 stencils if I can make each stencil 5.5 inches high instead of 6 inches high. So I change my reference point to top center and change the height to 5.5 inches. And so this way I can align this top part of the stencil to the top of my board. Now let's move the cut box layer to the bottom of the layer list. And now it's a good idea to save the Illustrator file. This will be the file that is editable in the future. Step 6 is to create an SVG file. Go to File, Save As, Format, SVG, Save, and make sure it's embedding images. Now, this will no longer be an editable file. In order to create the final stencil, we need to select the text, right-click, Create Outlines. Notice the extra lines that were created as each letter was outlined. We want this to read as one continuous object, and we don't want each letter to be cut out individually. So we need to unite the letters. Making sure your text is still selected, go to the Pathfinder tool in the right toolbox, click Unite, and you will see that this unites all the letters into one clean cut. Now we need to cut these objects out of the stencil. Keep in mind, we could bring this file as is into our cutting software, but it would still need to be manipulated to cut properly. And I want a clean stencil to be inserted. That doesn't require any additional editing, so I want to cut everything out and have a single clean object. Keeping the cut box selected, we want to make the box black, so click the Swap, Fill, and Stroke icon by clicking the two-sided arrow icon by the swatch over here, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift-X. Go to the Select drop-down menu, select All, go back to your Pathfinder tool on the right, and click the Subtract Front icon, and now everything is one object. Now, I am not going to want to cut the little pieces of the R out, so I'm going to delete those. So now we need to save our SVG file, and make sure when you save it that the object is embedded right here. If you are going to be importing this into your silhouette, you'll need to go to File, Export, Export As, and change your file to a DXF file, and export. Click OK, and that is the file you will be importing into your silhouette. Okay, so now I'll show you how to import this into the Cricut Design Space. I've already opened Chrome, which is the best browser to use for Design Space, by the way, and I've logged in and created a new project. At the bottom of the toolbar on the left, you will see the Upload button. Click Upload, Upload Image, either browse or drag and drop your SVG file, and click Open. Name your image if you want it to be different than your file name, and add your tags. This will make it much easier to find what you are looking for later. And then click Save. Select your uploaded image and insert images. Notice that even though we created a single object in Illustrator, the inside of letters like A, E, and L are not part of the stencil object. So what this means is we need to weld the remaining pieces so it is one object when it cuts. Now this is brought in as a group, so click the group and then you can click Weld, which is the bottom right corner of Design Space. Now click Make It at the top right of your screen and you can see that it will cut beautifully. Also, I can fit 2 of these stencils on a 12 by 24 sheet so I can maximize my material. So that's it. That's how I create a stencil in Illustrator to be used on a hand-painted wood sign. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to learn how to apply this stencil and paint a wood sign like this one, I will include a link to my blog post, How to Paint a Wood Sign, in the description box below. As always, good luck doing it all.